Good morning, third grade scholars. This is Mrs. Thornton, and I hope you have enjoyed a wonderful 3-day weekend as Memorial Day was yesterday. This week we are starting a new unit. This is Unit 9 in Benchmark, and it's called Spending Time and Money. Hopefully you've had a chance to see the video for the new unit. If you haven't, this is a synopsis or a summary of what it's about. The essential question for spending time and money is, what do our economic choices tell us about ourselves? Well, economics is the study of how people use their money and resources. And since money and resources are limited, people have to choose how to use them carefully. And this might sound like something only business people have to do, but we all make economic choices every day. When you decide to buy at a candy store, or when you decide to save your money instead of spend it, that's an economic choice. People's economic choices reveal a lot about what they want, what they need, and what they think is important. So in this unit, we will explore different kinds of economic choices, how these choices affect our lives, and what these choices tell us about ourselves. So our reading for this week is called Making Choices. It's the short read at the beginning of the unit, and you find it on pages 4 and 5. And part of the introduction I've already shared with you, but it's good to review it again. So economics is the study of how people choose to use resources. These resources may be raw materials, land, or tools. They may also include the time and talent needed to make goods and services or products. How much should a person work, spend, or save? Through the ages, many people have offered advice to help others make good economic choices. Our purpose for reading Making Choices is to read two texts. One is Ben Franklin's 2 Cents. The other one is The Ants and the Grasshopper, and to figure out the important idea about making economic choices that they share in both of these texts. We're going to underline the key details in each one of them. And as I'm just looking at it here, I'm noticing that we have a photograph of money, and it looks like we have an illustration of some ants. Uh, the Ants and the Grasshopper, it says it's by Aesop, and we know Aesop is a writer of fables. So each one of them should have something about choosing whether you use money or something like that in some way. So we're going to be looking for things that have sayings about money or have maybe a moral or lesson in the fable. And we'll see what details we can underline related to that. Ben Franklin's 2 Cents. Benjamin Franklin was one of the founders of the United States. He was a scientist, inventor, and leader. He was also a writer and printer. Between 1732 and 1758, he published an annual or yearly book. Poor Richard's Almanac was the name of the book. Included stories, useful information about the weather, and valuable household tips. It also included many proverbs or timeless sayings about work and money. And so what we have is a list of 5 of his proverbs or sayings that can be used at any time period. Here's number 1. Waste neither time nor money, but make the best use of both. If a man empties his purse into his head, no one can take it away from him. Wealth depends on just 2 words, frugality and industry. Early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. And the last one, a penny saved is a penny earned. Okay, so as I read through those 5 proverbs, I'm thinking about the kinds of details that we're looking for. We're looking for things that include advice about work and money. So what did we see? We saw, don't waste your time, but make best use of both. Okay, so waste neither time nor money. What does that mean? I think it means don't waste it on frivolous things, but buy things that you really do need and spend time doing the things that you should. Okay, so that would be a good detail. I also like a penny saved is a penny earned, because to me that means if you save it and not spend it, it's as good as earning more money. So you're holding on to it maybe because you want to get something that's more costly, or maybe it's because you don't need it yet, so you might need it in the future, and it's good to have it on hand. And another one that I think is a really good one is the way to wealth depends on just two words: frugality and industry. Frugality is the ability to be able to save, and it's about making good choices, deciding whether to spend or not. Industry just is another word for working. So if you work hard and you save, you will be able to live a long and happy life, hopefully, and have everything that you need. All right, so let's read Aesop's fable of the ants and the grasshopper. Aesop was a storyteller in ancient Greece. He lived in the 6th century BC. He told many fables. Fables often have a moral or a lesson. A moral tells people how to behave or act. His fable, The Ants and the Grasshopper, is about the rewards of hard work. Okay, I'm just going to highlight that right now. Rewards of hard work. One bright day in late autumn, a family of ants were working hard in the sunshine. They were drying out the grain they had stored up during the summer. A very hungry grasshopper has his fiddle under his arm, and he came up to them. He begged for a bite to eat. "What?" cried the ants in surprise. "Haven't you stored anything away for the winter? What in the world were you doing all last summer?" "Oh, I didn't have time to store up any food," whined the grasshopper. "Every morning I napped in the sun. Every afternoon I played music on my fiddle. And every evening I danced until very late. Before I knew it, the summer was gone." The ants shrugged their shoulders in disgust. They turned their backs on the grasshopper and went on with the work. And the moral at the end: in times of plenty, it is best to prepare for times of necessity. So I think some of the important details in this story are that the ants worked really hard to store up food from the summertime. Okay, so that might be something important. And the ants were not impressed. In fact, they were disgusted by the grasshopper who didn't save anything. He says, "I didn't store any food." All he did was play. He played in the morning. I'm sorry, he napped in the morning, and he played every afternoon and danced until late. And he never stored up anything to help him for food later on in the year. So the ants didn't help him. They turned their backs on him, and they went back to their work. Okay, so we have looked at the short read of Making Choices, which was really two pieces of text: Ben Franklin's 2 cents and The Ants and the Grasshopper. We've highlighted some important details about making choices. For instance, the ant and the grasshopper didn't make good choices, and the ants did. And some of the proverbs from Ben Franklin's 2 cents, that he felt like saving was an important thing to do. So let's look now at the chart that goes with making choices. Okay, so here it is. We have red making choices. We've annotated some key details, And then this chart is where we put some of those key details and then come up with the main idea. So on the key details chart, you'll see that it's divided into two sections, one for Ben Franklin, one for the ants and the grasshopper. In each section, one detail has been given to you already. You are to give two more details, at least. You can do more than that, but you should do at least two. Then as we go down, you see complete the main idea, and we have a sentence starter for you. Both Ben Franklin and Aesop advise that, and for me, I would feel like they were advising you to work hard and save, but you have to make that decision yourself. Okay. And then the last one is, which of the following is not a proverb from Poor Richard's Almanac? So you're going to choose one of these that is not something that we read from Ben Franklin and his list of proverbs. All right, that should do it for today. Have a great Tuesday, and we will be sharing with you soon.